We look forward to that tomorrow, or rather later today. If we have to wait till tomorrow, screw that. That match of the week coming up later, KCG2. It's hyping you up. But first, we have playoff implications. Myself and Nymaera get to run you through Vitality and SK. A very important matchup for the rest of the teams looking to qualify.
Yep, so we'll get into that, of course, before this game and as we get into it as well, because that is our key thing for today. Vitality win, they get a minimum of a tiebreaker, and BDS, SK, and Rogue are locked out. If SK win, they stay alive, and they also lock Heretics into playoffs, and gives GX a minimum of a tiebreaker. That's our stakes. We'll run you through that again as we get into the early game. Yeah, quick reminders for you all day. It's going to be a long one, but it's going to be a good one. As over in Paris, they're only just rearing up the day to begin. Now, SK Vitality, we are into pick and ban. Jay starts us off first. We get rid of the top laners that seem blindable here. I think so far, I'd have to agree, this is a normal choice. Yone also taken out of the mix in case we get some of those Sejuani combinations that I think Vitality have more flexibility with. I think those combinations you're talking about are the key of a lot of drafts right now. I was looking through a lot of drafts recently, and it feels like these kind of big duos either in mid-jungle, sometimes solo laners can come together very, very powerfully, and a lot of the time they involve a global. We're not seeing them banned out right now. Stuff like the Pantheon Taliyah, very, very big. We're seeing stuff like VIT Kai'Sa we've seen throughout the whole year as well. And I think particularly when you look at teams like these two, they love to be aggressive and they don't like to make things easy. So they like to lock in something a bit dynamic that can play off of each other. I mean, we had Ryze yesterday. That dynamic is still really important too. You know, further to your global point and movement through these mid laners. Poppy taken away, maybe fishing for something like an early Ambessa on the side of SK. Big question mark though is, what do you get in return? Maoko's already banned away. Things like Kalista are still opened. I know Varus is still there. That's the big one for me that I feel like has to be taken away last. That's a really good point. The Varus, very blind pickable is the thing. Yeah. We also have Neeko available. We do have Neeko. we do have that available. Nisky Neeko again. Which I will just say, it is a very, very lane dominant champion, and it can do some big winning of things. So I wouldn't surprise to see that locked in. For me, I think this Taliyah, big comfort pick for almost every mid laner in Europe though. It pairs up well with the Pantheon. Wouldn't surprise to see that locked in first. Yeah, no, I mean, again, they're just thinking about it, but for SK flashing around, what can they go and give to this bot lane? But as you said, Taliyah just needs to be locked, doesn't it? It's just such a strong duo as Viktor's an instant lock on the side of Vitality in response to Pantheon. And they break open the Taliyah Pantheon combination. So often you see the Taliyah, you say, well, I don't want to give Taliyah and Pantheon, that's too powerful. Lock in the Viktor, strong laning phase, and the Pantheon at least stops that double global Avengers Assemble, which, you know, love singing along. Oh, we do. We love singing along with that one. We love Avengers. Stops that. So then the question is, okay, your jungle matchup now, do you pick Vi or Shinzao? I think there's the two champions which do best into it. They choose the Vi, ties up well with the Taliyah. You all get the free combo. Works very well onto an immobile carry like the Viktor. Now, follow-up support is the next question, right? Rel's still very big. We know there's a lot of Nautilus in the scene as well, especially with an immobile mage. But mobility instead. They get the Ezreal, they take away a priority AD carry before Vitality have the chance to give it to Carzzy. Of course, it's Keduii's real hotshot champion too. Oh, yes, it is. Keduii's been wonderful in that champion. I really like to see him play that Ezreal, and hopefully he'll be able to get some good value out of that one. I think Boukada as well, shown a lot of comfort on the Vi. If I look at SK and the way that they win, a lot of the time it is through comfort like this. And as much as we were just saying before this, hey, neither of these teams play things easy a lot of the time as, oh, I do see that champion. Neeko again, what a surprise. Nisky Neeko has some ups and downs, but hey, it definitely, it's very true. But it gives us some entertainment. I look at that, you have the Pantheon ulting into a play, opening up one front, picking onto someone. Hopefully that means that Nisky doesn't have to go alone. If you communicate well as jungle support, hopefully it means that Nisky gets to have some better moments on the Neeko. On the Nisky Neeko, It's starting to become eponymous to me. As, yeah, it's a good duo to block in together to quickly open up a fight. He's not going to have the best KDA. I mean, he definitely does 0.9 over 2 games on this champion. But he had game-winning ults, as we saw only the other week. Now Kai'Sa looks like a pairing that they want to get rid of part of the dive. Karma with the Ezreal, a classic pairing as well. And my only side note is that this draft music sounds very much like we're in Halo 2. You know, the downtime we're sneaking in with the aliens in camouflage. And we're getting rid of the heretics, you know? Man, wow. That's very topical for playoffs implications. It is. You know, that's, yeah, Arbiter, Mission 3 or whatever it is. Are we getting rid of the heretics? It's only SK, because Vitality are the heretics if they win this, don't forget. It does fit, don't you think, that downtime that... Hey, man, dude, it is one of my very favorite games of all time. I couldn't agree with you. It's
You know, it's evergreen, what they say. Like, you can always come back to it 5 years later and be like, I can play some Halo.
Locks in the Neeko, and what would you have your Arbiter do?
Very good. Now, Nautilus is gone as well. Go back and play Bioshock as my next recommendation. Is Jhin adds some range, so we don't go for the full dive. Instead, we get some utility.
But what you do get with this is a very strong 2v2. I think the two best lanes... Well, three best lanes with Neeko are Jhin, Varus, and Kalista. They do slightly different things. The Varus and the Jhin and the Kalista are all very strong, but when you have the Jhin or the Varus, you have very, very good poke. You land the Neeko Q, activates the Jhin W, they get rooted instead of just a bit of damage off of them. And of course, if Neeko lands the E, it's pretty much instant in terms of the W route as well. Leona locks in, means you're a little bit tankier and you can shrug off some of that poke, hopefully play for a little bit later. However, you kind of see the fact that you're not necessarily winning the 2v2, which of course you can do, but the Leona Ezreal looking to survive that laning phase and then play around solar flares onto this two squishier backliners later.
As Gragas gets locked in for SK, for Genax, that's something we see a lot in the ARLs. I want to see what they pick into it. What's the counter? What's the option? Shen has been popping up more and more, and with the Q buffs as well, really good lane trading. They need a top laner. There's no way Viktor's going top. For Nako, Shen would just be another piece of the puzzle. That dude's got like 13 uniques at the moment.
Because I was looking at that Gragas and thinking, hey, that can be a risky blind pick, you know.
True.
Gragas doesn't win all of the lanes that he used to. They were talking about it on cast yesterday in one of the series. Can't remember exactly which game it was in, but saying, well, look, Gragas does not sustain the way that he does before. He's no longer a permanent heal bot. Yes, can farm out with the Qs, go towards Saras, Cosmic, and go towards Aurora if you want. There's some build flexibility, you can go full tank as well. Aatrox plays like a weird half-range champion as well with his Q and his E. Gragas hates playing against that because he can't sustain through that in the same way anymore. So now what you're going to have is Pantheon, maybe the Jhin, helping towards a side lane with a long-range Jhin W or the Pantheon ulting into a lane. Aatrox getting the benefit of that too. And it's going to be a bit of an arms race. You're going to have the Taliyah rushing in with the Vi onto one side lane, potentially the Pantheon rushing in there too, and seeing who gets ahead with this very quick response time set of globals on both sides.
And to add in as well, once those globals come online, like those sides are so important, right? Utility AD carry on one, you know, self-sustaining AD carry in the Ezreal looking for 2-3 items. Supports that have big engage powers. For SK and Vitality, as we approach the end of the split in this final week, over in Paris, they're fighting not only for their tournament live, they're fighting for their opportunity to get towards playoffs, to have a shot at even thinking about MSI. These are some teams near the bottom, but again, LEC's not cut and dry this split. It's been one of the most competitive splits we have had in a while, as we're rearing to entering Summoner's Rift here for another gloomy day. SK versus Vitality are fighting to stay alive. SK 2-6, Vitality 3-5. Who will thrive? That's our final question as we get into game number 1.
It has been very rare that a league goes down to the last 2 days where every single team is still technically within playoffs contention. Doesn't mean that it's equally likely between all teams. We have some of these teams start on 2 wins, SK being one of them. We've got Rogue down there as well. They still have a chance. That to me is gold standard. It means that I am on the edge of my seat. I'm waiting to see, look, you may have had some crap games here and there. You might have had some different performances. You still have a chance. You can still get towards playoffs. Make them sweat.
The difference I had with these two teams is that those crap games were few and far between. Like, Vitality had some almost winnable. We talked about it yesterday. Casey and Vitality, as the invade onto Keduii, it's just going to be spotted out. Vitality almost won that series, and granted, you can take that with a grain of salt, where, yeah, they got to a game 3, but, like, they had some real big moments in that series. And Vitality, I think, have shown us a lot more than SK have, whereas SK is still trying to put the pieces together, where Vitality now, that individuality, is starting to shine through with people like Nako, people like Czajek, even Lyncas, showing carry performances from game to game.
Yeah, no, SK are a team which have definitely caught my attention in some of their games. I think when they get some more comfort comps, I think that they've shown some great ability to carry through the likes of Keduii. I think this guy's been great. Boukada, I think I've really enjoyed watching his plays as well. And reminder, as we talk through all of this big talk, these are the playoffs stakes. SK, they win, they stay alive, importantly, but Heretics also lock playoffs and guaranteed Giant X a tiebreaker. Other side, Vitality can get a triple kill of teams eliminated. If they end up taking the win here, they would knock out SK, BDS, and Rogue.
A bit of a delay. Okay. Well, I have been told that an investigation is in process. Now, it could be the fact that there is a fly in the studio with us now. He just will not leave. You know,
I'm going to let you know, that's probably not it, but it's great for you to mention.
But just in case it is, We'll have someone deal with that, I hope. You know, you try and show the fly the door, and he goes around it, to the side of it, underneath it or next to it, but then he comes back in.
Damn Karzyk's everywhere. Karzyk's is a fly, right? Well, he's more like a grasshopper.
Karzyk's is an alien. I don't think that guy's a fly.
In truth, but he has bug-like features.
He does. If anyone's a fly, who's the biggest mosquito or fly in League of Legends?
Karzyk's.
Is he actually?
You said biggest. I mean, there ain't much.
I mean, biggest is in like most relevant.
Look, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't prepare for that. I didn't do my homework on insect-looking champions. That guy is the closest.
I'm trying to think. Probably Teemo, no?
Unless you think Pix is closer with the fairy thing.
Yeah, Pix.
Wait, hang on. Sorry, backtracking.
Mosquito.
In what world is Teemo a mosquito?
He's a little rat thing, so he's close.
That rat is not a mosquito.
Okay, don't worry, I have a computer. While we wait for the pause and we confirm, audio issue, by the way, on stage.
We've gotten how many minutes into the game? 1 and a bit. Derailed completely already.
Legends.
It's a
character. Well, hang on a minute. I am the mosquito champion, never chase a mosquito.
Why are
what
you
does that mean?
mentioning this?
To all non-Kane players. Well, I had to find out.
We have wonderful playoff stakes. We do. We have a road show in Paris in front of a wonderful crowd. We've got some gameplay we're really looking forward to. Mosquitoes, though, eh?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was important. We had a fly in here, and we still do. And
it's still in here, yes.
And my biggest problem was that I just didn't get an answer then, by the way. It said the only thing I got was like, why can't Saitama kill a mosquito? And that's a true point.
That's true. That did happen.
Why can't he kill a mosquito? That dude can destroy anything.
It's to show the futility of forcing your way into certain situations.
Hang on a minute.
Pause, though.
We are about to jump back in. Looks like those audio issues on stage have been fixed. And you're going to get a full screen look at the game coming in shortly. So whatever it was, it's done now. There we go. We're back in. Oh, yeah. Good to know. All right. Where do you want to start, Nymaera?
I want to start with what our junglers are doing, because they're starting on opposite sides of the map, and sometimes that can be pretty important. So we can have VIT heading from bot side up towards top side, Pantheon going from top side down towards bot side. So that can often lead to some different ways that you play around the early game.
Yep.
VIT will want to make sure that Genox is going to be safe enough on the top side, can hopefully get him a bit of a bounce back. And we'll hopefully see Lyncas able to leverage off of the Jhin and the Neeko and their power in the early lane as well.
True. And again, you talked a lot about the globals coming online at level 6, you know, for the semi-global and Taliyah, for Lyncas on his ulti as well. Seems like a very important tools. How support sync up is always the question. I feel like that's been a big topic for the past couple of years, is like you're defined by how well your support and jungle synergize in the first 15, 20 minutes of the game and what they actually get done. I think that's what Gen G does really well. I think what Hummer Life do really well at the moment as well.
Oh yeah, jungle support is a team game, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's all well and good saying, oh, this guy's a good jungler, this guy's a good support. Well, how do you link up with the other one of them? Because you have to go down and, particularly in a meta like this, drafts like this, teleports defensively pretty slow nowadays.
They are.
You get jumped on by a Vi with Taliyah ulting alongside it, someone like Ezreal throwing an ult into the mix too. By the time your teleport's finished, someone's probably dead if the combo's work. And of course, on the other side too, what happens if you have like Jhin landing a W, Pantheon ulting into a play, similar kind of thing.
Yeah.
As a jungle support, you need to put down the defensive vision. Of course, that'll come in the next, probably in next 5-10 minutes, right? Not at this point, it's the first clear. But you need to make sure you do a good enough job with that to make sure your team has a fighting chance to at least know where the blow is coming.
True. Teleport point exceptional though. I mean, 8 seconds is a long time to wait as Lyncas is walking into fog of war. Boukada's going to smack him quickly. Seismic shove though, but he W's and he was just out of range. Lyncas might be safe because of that as well, as Czajek is trying to pincer in. They focus onto Boukada. Czajek won't commit the flash. He puts down the gravity field and Rika flashes instead. Nako's come down. Lyncas gets a stun again. A roaming Aatrox is the deadliest. What a move from Nako to get first blood, as meanwhile Niski and Carzzy almost dead within the lane. But SK get no trade. It's first blood alone to Vitality.
Some strange things happen with the jungle pathing as Lyncas tries to avoid the river, go back through his own jungle to go back towards top side. I thought he was going to be the one getting picked off there, but obviously not the case. And while that was happening, we assumed that the bot lane of the Jhin and Neeko would be winning pretty de facto in the bot lane. They do slip up a little bit and lose all of their summoners. Loopy now has flash, could potentially force down there again, as Boukada is also looking to join them. Double flash from Leona. It's actually quite scary for Vitality's bot lane. They've got to pay respect to this.
It is indeed, with no summoners available. Vitality, they just want to meet the wave, but Boukada now there. Volt Breaker, Flash, Dennis Blade, caught up. No flourish to be seen, but Loopy, the trade is swift. And in the end, the trade is good. Only over to Niski, though, and Keduii gets to stay in lane and push this out.
That's important. Carzzy did get that W under the turret. Important to note that he W'd behind him because that's where Leona would would land from the Zenith Blade. So luckily gets that full route, gets something back, but as you said, doesn't get the XP under the tower. It's something which Vedius likes to talk about a lot, actually. It's just when you see a bot lane play, your first checklist is, did the AD carry die? The AD carry dies, they don't get the farm, they don't get the XP. Carzzy, sadly for himself, doesn't get either the kill or that XP, because he only gets the assist off of that. It's 1-for-1 in the grand scheme of things with SK. After the slip up in the topside jungle, it's not bad for them.
Especially for Boukada, he was the one to pick up the kill as well, so by getting a bit more love after Lyncas helped out with the same, but early blood, early advantages coming through other sides of the map. Nako might lose his, though, has to flash away. Jhin gets the body slam, and just like in the ERLs, Nako getting bullied around a little bit, told who his father is.
Jhin really playing well in this early matchup. Typically, the Aatrox does quite well into the Gragas, as we've been seeing. Not necessarily as simple as that. Nako losing his flash, or can teleport back to lane. I suppose that was the difference between them. Jhin had already gotten himself the items to come back to lane. Maybe a bit disrespectful there from Nako, but still gives something towards Jhin. Q out of the brush.
Okay, there's an opportunity here. Czajek puts the gravity field down. Boukada will just walk it away. Czajek holds onto the flash, though, and that's an important part because that summoner for a Viktor is everything.
Dragon is alive. Lyncas is starting it up. Bot lane is on the bot side of the map for SK. They haven't done any swaps away from bot lane. Spy coming down. Yeah, I mean, there is a potential to contest this. Bot lane stuck around towards that bot side of the map.
Chaos Storm is up and available, though, and I'm worried. Loopy's going to sandwich in. For SK, an opportunity arises. Zenith Blade is good. Gravity field down again. Czajek used that flash we talked about before, but Lyncas got the shields up. SK in front of the Dragon might have more than just a kill, more than just an objective. They might have the whole farm as Carzzy sidestepping keeps him alive. A mystic shot sent out as Niski is getting burnt down, but it's all a ruse. Nicely done, and Niski's development again. Proof in the pudding.
So while all that was happening, Dragon was leashed and taken by SK. That's why Boukada didn't commit to the back end of that fight. Maybe some miscommunication there, actually, as Rika stays around in mid lane and doesn't have the backup of the VIT. Of course, that means that it wasn't there at the start of this. We had a WPQ trade between the junglers at the start of this. Loopy goes in on quite a big engage too. Luckily, Keduii gets some extra damage through. Unlucky to hit the last couple of shots.
Stepping from Carzzy.
Importantly does that. He gets hit by another shot. He does die there.
Yeah, he dies and he doesn't get to W this. Who knows what happens, but yeah, Czajek gets the kill onto Rika as well. 2 kills for Czajek in that last fight. 600 gold up. And nothing given over to Keduii, who feels like he should be walking away with another kill on top of this Ezreal. A snowball. SK might have got the Dragon, but the gold is 1,500 in the lead. Nako might balance that a little bit. Once again, with the World Ender out, he's going to do nothing, but Pantheon's help changes that. Saving grace! Lyncas from the skies! He will descend with Loopy coming up to support the play, but all the damage is there, knocked in the air. Nako is making an okay KO.
Lyncas with a speed dial from the satellites comes down from the skies. Grand Starfall and those globals we've been hammering on about the whole game finally come to bear. Lyncas makes a huge difference coming in on the speed dial. That won't just be the kills on the top side. It's also going to be a clean set of grub takes for them as well. And Vitality are massively now ahead at this timestamp in the game. This is not just a 3,000 gold lead. It's a 3,000 gold lead at 8 minutes.
At 8 minutes, yeah. It's running out of control, but that's what we wanted. We wanted bloodshed, and we know Vitality are the ones to deliver to us. Granted, SK are trying to keep pace, but like Vitality, we have complemented their ability like individually to stand out mechanically, and I think that's what the LEC needs. It was talked about yesterday with KC, with games like we saw from the EU Zeker himself and Vladdy. And then now, at this point, Vitality doing it on their solo lane is super. I think Lyncas is an unstoppable force that gets better and better each week. He's like a fine wine, that guy.
And, you know, I've followed this guy's career for a long time now. He was back in the NLC back in 2022. And honestly, even back then, he was a very confident player. And he could play a whole bunch of different classes of champions. It was not surprising that to me that he can pick up something quite unique in the Pantheon, actually, in the use of that global. Not many champions play like that from the jungle. And, you know, this is a fight that happened before 10 minutes. If you had a teleport into that fight, it would have been too slow to impact it. The fact that he was there on the hair trigger, so important. SK also didn't have their global backup available. They do have the Weaver's Wall now, so now they have a chance to make a play on the other side of it. You should be careful to do that before the Grand Starfall comes back up again, though, because a 1 item, 1 kill, 3 assist Pantheon is not something you want to tangle with lightly. Not to mention the 1k gold lead Aatrox, which... Oh, small thing, I mean, yeah, look, Aatrox versus Gragas. Okay, Gragas can nullify that, but
I always worry about when Aatrox gets to roam, which he already has at minute 3, at minute 4. When Nako gets to influence fights.
But we're in Paris, not Rome.
Ah, yes.
Ah,
so what do we do instead?
We do as the Parisians do, apparently.
We eat cheese. Yes, we do. Not today, though. Jhin dunks? No, just out of range. So good trade. Nako steps past the barrel roll. He's in full conquer as well. Jhin knows he might have to commit something here with double knock up and flash available almost from Nako. Respect's got to be given, and this is just, again, the power of an Aatrox that is leading.
And Niski on this top side as well. I mean, you can count minions at this point. I mean, I hope you can count minions. He's teleporting back in. I didn't see a ping. Now coming onto turret. I mean, you could get really straight up here.
Wait, actually with the dunk down as well. Immediate ult from Jhin. Okay, Niski's going to stick around. They want to dive this as well. Pop Blossom available. Jhin flashes, but he's not going to get too far as way as Nako takes number 4. This Aatrox is running the game while SK have no choice but to get bot. Lyncas caught out as there might be another Czajek, puts the gravity field down. There's a Zed played the cover as well. Cease and desist over the top. Rika, no Chaos Storm to care about. A shutdown, and SK really good response play on the other side of the map.
The cross map is good. I think Vitality make a bit of a mistake in saying we're going to play both sides of the map at once.
Yeah.
Yes, you are ahead, but your Aatrox is on top side and can't help you out on that bot side of the map. And SK realize that they do have a bit of an overlap of power, I suppose, in the bot side, and play off of that well. So a good fire back from SK. They do use a lot of ults to do that, so they're no longer available, say, for the Dragon coming up in 20 seconds. They may have to give that one up, although, honestly, I think they probably would have given that one up anyway, just to try and take some gold from plates maybe on top side, if they can do that instead.
1800 gold lead. Sphere is Shojin, picked up at 11.5 minutes. And that's with Merc Treads, so right now, Jhin is looking like a budget car salesman, while Nako is that guy in the Mercedes-Benz who drives past.
We've been trying to contact you about your Fiendish Codex's extended warranty.
No way it doesn't end up as a write-off. I mean, for SK in this early game, it is all in top. Like that gold lead you see at the top of your screen, all towards Jhin. And Lyncas, as he picks up Dragon, trying to move that across the map right now as well. So a Dragon apiece, not picked up before because SK won that trade, but now we're just going to see how does the rest of the map use these globals to talk about. How we use Taliyah, because Rika seems like an important pass with Boukada, who both have individual leads themselves.
Yeah, it really is about that next round of cooldowns coming up. Well, of course, Rika doesn't have his available just yet. It's much harder to pull the trigger on that stuff when you feel like you're behind the game, and you are behind the game, of course, as well. But SK, they're going to have to do that. Reminder, very important match for them. They're fighting to stay alive. Not only that, they're fighting for a bunch of other teams currently sat outside the playoffs bracket as it stands in the current standings from this game. So SK got to rack their brains a little bit, thread the needle. They are behind the game, but they have the tools to make a big play. Hopefully get some numbers quickly to one side of the map before Vitality can respond.
And SK have to be careful. Their own life as well. While nothing's in their hands, if you didn't hear before, obviously SK need to win desperately, then they also just have to hope the fates are on their side, but this would be just the start, wouldn't it? Vitality now looking towards next objectives. I see 1 minute 30 for the Herald to spawn. Looks like that's what we'll wait until as plates are just falling off for now.
One thing that's interesting, by the way, we've seen a death of the rower Viktor. We do have the Blackfire Torch. It's a little bit different than that. Viktor, a little bit more DPS. However, if you do reach them with a Taliyah, easier to kill. Might actually end up being quite impactful hit. I suppose eventually he'll go towards the Zhonya's, but doesn't have that with the early tankiness. We had seen some mages going towards Catalyst and just sitting on the Catalyst for the 358. Selling that later if you needed it. Does mean you're a little bit squishy though.
Might be okay to Jhin though, who's naturally just going to build health bruise as we're already seeing. I know Vedius doesn't like this build. A shout out to Vedius. He doesn't like it because he thinks it takes a while to come online. I believe it was Vedi, but he's okay. If he needs to take the punches, he can.
It's Vedi now, even if he didn't say it.
It's Vedius now. But the important part is he thinks Revolver is good first, because, I mean, again, and context is important, right?
Thing,
because it's amazing to see the Revolver, because the damage you get out of trading Viktor in early lane is great.
No,
again, if I'm wrong, he can just tweet at me or something. He'll be fine as Rika. Oh, the shove doesn't land. Wait. Rika, will he have to flash? Worldender's going to come out, and I'm looking now. Rika, he's trying to hold on against the turret. He finally flashes, but Nako's there to deliver. This Aatrox is running the map, but no, he does not speak Korean. I'm pretty sure it's just Turkish.
Nako, 5 kills on the Aatrox. That top lane fight, which went wrong for SK, can be so impactful.
I flash.
Czajek will live, does blow that flash, but, you know, SK, that
they have to rue that mistake they made earlier, giving so many early kills to Nako as Lyncas had that first ult towards it. This time, he doesn't even need any other teammates coming down here. Rika just ends up walking into the Aatrox, and he's so powerful now. What can you do in a 1v1?
This is like the Vitality game versus Koi. Do you remember when, you know, Nako took over the game on Silas? He starts going for these 1v1s. It's not always clean League of Legends, but it's bloody impressive. He's now taking over the game, and through sides, while they leave him down there, SK are going to try and play for this. No teleport available, but it does mean that that first turret is going to fall at the 15.5-minute mark.
With Herald secured, Vitality rather give that gold over to the Aatrox. I mean, why not?
Why not?
A lot of work with them. Poor Gragas on the other side completes the Cosmic Drive, but it's just, what can you do at this point? Gragas is going to be on wave clear duty. And I think a big issue which SK are going to have is you don't just have to kill the Viktor now. You don't just have to kill the Jhin, which normally you can manage that with the Viktor, the combo from the VIT, and everything else. You've got to kill everyone, and here comes Niski.
Niski's going to make it easy for them as well. Lyncas got a stun up, ulti delivered, and Nako's just there waiting. Lyncas going to share in the spoils, because right now, if Nako's there, it's free booty.
It's a quick roam, quick use of the globals. Vitality again showcasing why this Pantheon is so globally powerful right now alongside a whole host of other champions that can respond and make plays very quickly. And it's more gold over towards the Aatrox, yes, towards the Pantheon too. Continually adding more threats onto the board for SK, that if it comes down to a team fight, you're going to have to remove all of these somehow. This Aatrox can solo carry a team fight from this level of gold. Rika will get the bot lane out of turret, get some gold back, but they need this Taliyah online ASAP to at least be a bit of disengaged. Use that minefield while trying to get some damage down, but you're so far behind the curve compared to what you should be able to take down that Aatrox right now.
You're trying to find these picks, but you're right again, like starting to fall by the wayside, and I feel like SK as we go into the mid game, a trend we've commonly seen is direction is a big issue. Vitality, they'll keep sending it, we know that, but they're going to have to find a beautiful pick with this set Taliyah. 15 seconds till the Dragon, SK have River.
They can use that Taliyah ult to block off some area of it too. Lyncas has that powered E. Doesn't want to take too much damage before using it though. That temporary front line can sometimes be a little lacking.
Trisha Barrage hits Lyncas, half HP. I'm looking across the rest of the map. It's not like many waves are being lost right now. Herald's going to be used mid, so SK have priority, and Nako's the one defending as he just reaches over to level 13. But SK not moving into the river anymore. They want mid to its completion, and first charge does more damage now, so SK a shred away from finding their first turret, or rather second.
They still managed to keep control of the bot river as well, importantly somehow. Yeah, somehow, yeah. Managed to get some poke down. Vitality don't have to play around this bot side river if they don't have to. Nako.
Oh, sidestep though. Away from the body slam. Janak still could be in trouble. He flashes over the wall, and Nako, the one-man raid boss with 2 items, charged in. But look at the soul flare on the right. And the pick. Finally, the Taliyah's done something, and Niski is down. Vitality, a member to the ground, but the health bar's blinking on SK's side. The 4th bullet hits, and that guy can count. Well, the shutback is good, and it's onto Lyncas. He's at half HP. Nako holds his in, but he's not a Demon King yet. He's blown away. SK have found their moment in the sun. Lyncas could be next. The range needed, the blast cone good, but Vitality, it was Niski caught out. It was unlevel heads. They just threw it all away in front of the Dragon.
SK hold their ground really well, and they're patient. That's the most important thing. They're patient. They don't overextend onto, you know, the initial failed attempt from Janak onto Nako. It's going to buy them a bunch of kills, a shutdown onto the Aatrox, importantly, and the Dragon as well. So they get the second Dragon, potentially working towards a later soul point if they keep that up. We'll go back to a replay of how this happened. The most important thing that SK do is not tunneling onto this. That was a failed pick. Instead, they just peel back a little bit. Get something onto the Neeko. Part of the engage is gone. Yes, the Jhin opens up, but they're just buying time. I think then at this point, a bit of a mistake coming in from Nako as he goes in without the damage being within range. These guys are not close enough at this start of the fight. He gets into basically a brief 1v5 in the front line. Aatrox is tanky, but he's not that tanky.
I mean, Boukada as well, his quick ulti in and out of Nako helped that play find its fruition too. They got a big shutdown, and look at the gold spread. Rika is now online. Janak's mitigated that was going past 2k between that top lane matchup. SK, bit of life in them here in this game. They shred down that gold lead, and they get the Dragon building up towards the soul. I feel like compliment where compliment's due. We finally got to see more Taliyah, more pick potential that's so orientated as Nymaera you're talking about with how this comp operates.
Yeah, and of course on the other side of that, Taliyah on one side, yes, very good at that snap engage, turning up and following up the plays very well. That last fight did not have Grand Starfall to open up an extra option. Vitality, or Niski Zelda as well, of course, so some big tools not available to them. Potentially they can use them again. Potentially they could even ult behind them in mid lane right now if Lyncas wants to find that angle. Instead, tower is going to go down. Aatrox was walking down towards mid lane, not able to join the play quite quickly enough. So mid lane out of turret, cleanly, calmly taken by SK.
SK aren't going to start Aatrox, I can assure you that. At 20 minutes, Aatrox has been the biggest throw consistently over the past couple of... No, since it's been introduced.
It's like, we introduced a new objective. Instead, we have introduced new ways to throw it at an objective.
It's a 20-minute Baron, except a lot of teams die to it.
Yeah, it was... the flowchart was, okay, Baron's getting rushed at 20 minutes sometime through last year because we had all the Zyra stuff taking on spawn, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we don't want that. Let's make it really hard to take at 20 minutes. Okay, why is Baron spawning at 20 minutes in the first place? Let's move it to 25 minutes. Well, we need somebody to get 20 minutes now. They brought in the Aatrox, and we found new and beautiful ways to throw games around this objective.
It's a shame that we can't get T1 20-minute Barons anymore, you know?
Yeah, true,
It was
fun time.
That was something to look forward to, I feel.
It was all the world on one brief moment where someone says, right, let's full send it.
Yep.
Got a little while until that might happen in this game. We do have all of our big cooldowns up again in terms of our summoners. No flash on Lyncas if he really wants to hard send something. I mean, Vitality do still have an insanely powerful Aatrox. The last team fight was not prime material for him. I do want to see Vitality forcing around that Aatrox with the Pantheon. See if you can just send something into his lane. Control an area map. He is getting good topside push right now. Can you actually leverage that into something important?
Well, SK is starting to leverage their vision control and their hold over Vitality's jungle, pushing in ever so slightly. Just some defensive wards and a line set up for Vitality that they're holding with people like Niski on the Neeko. Lyncas as well. Also helping Carzzy push out this mid wave. Nako's going back towards top, but he has teleport available. The next dragon, 2 minutes. I mean, we've chilled for a bit, but yeah, the Weaver's Wall coming in. Pop Blossom is good, it's defensive, but it doesn't really hit anyone. Niski gets set awry as the Weaver's Wall now finally down for Vitality. Playing in front to back, and Boukada was isolated. Nako flashes away. He's the sole target, but he doesn't get poked down while Loopy is tangled up, and there's the improvement from Niski we needed. And there's the picks from Vitality that opens up too.
Very nearly heading onto Keduii as the ult comes out through.
I think it's okay. No one's going to die. Genax just takes the brunt of it, and Dragon's up in a minute 30, but those picks, a bit more gold in the basket.
So it's SK that choose to take that fight. They say, all right, okay, we're not going to wait until you throw out the Grand Starfall or something like that on top of Aatrox. We want to make that play. They come off worst away from it though. Comes through with the Taliyah ult, locks in some of Vitality's members into the team fight. You have Carzzy and Czajek stuck behind the plane. You think, okay, separate out the damage, that's fine. Nako, okay, he's briefly caught in one side of the fight, but he survives long enough this time, and instead it's Boukada who can't get out of the play. Loopy soon follows suit.
Where's the sirens? What is happening?
That's a great question.
Who is that?
That's a great question. I am not sure.
That smoke alarm better not be going off again, I swear to God. Can we get a check on that? Yeah,
I'm used to the Neeko
yeah, that
thing, but that is not that. I'm actually not entirely sure. Oh, it might have been one of the Ezreal things. I'm not sure.
True. He's an anime Ezreal, right? That's what this is?
He has, it is the Battle Academia one.
Yes.
But I have to say, not that knowledgeable more. Then Lyncas gets a stun to Loopy, though.
And Loopy caught out. This is just so common. Loopy's going to be gravity felled up, and Czajek gets the kill. I mean, this just keeps happening. Loopy, death number 5. That opens up that next dragon quite easily for Vitality.
And unfortunately, as you mention it, this is a commonplace thing to see from Loopy. I thought the start of his game was much better this time. 2v2 was looking good. He was getting into some of the better plays, but a couple of times in a row, caught out. Now there's no solar player to play through. The anti-calm, which Vitality is starting up. SK do still have their damage available, but it's harder to set up.
Boukada's going to need a miracle still if he wants to send it for Aatrox at 5k. It's going to half and half. And Nako has an angle to play with. The Demon Wretch over the wall finds Keduii, who already arcane shifts out. The zone control in full force. Niski gets a pop blossom for the final part of his life. His explosive cast, but Nako this time is untouched, and the gold lead still stands its might. Over the wall, the curtains will call, and SK will not live through it all. The final arc will find Boukada, and that's how the story ends, with a triple. That's 3, make it 4, because you know that Jhin deserves it all.
4 for Carzzy, 4 for Jhin, and a full, well, almost full team kill for Vitality. They get themselves that Aatrox. They'll get themselves the dragon right after SK. They lose their support. They buy into a fight that they weren't ready to take. Vitality just clean them off the map. This is the kind of fight which they should never be taking. Just let the Aatrox go. You don't have your CC. You don't really have the vision control at this point, and that allows Niski to get the CC down. Yes, he dies for it, but it buys the rest of the team enough time to get into it. This, you don't get that extra ability to jump out of the play at that point. Keduii on the full defensive, and Loopy at the end of this just comes back to die again.
Max rage.
The Jhin trap even kills Keduii on the rail.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. But fantastic way to end it. And then Carzzy, he can count.
That's so classy. There's a Jhin trap kill in there. There's the dancing grenade kill. Niski dodges out on that bomber with the proto belt.
Like an awakened cinematic to finish off a Vitality. Like 5.5k gold lead. Well, it does feel like, when he bows at the end, Camille's running at him. You don't know what happens, but you know that Jhin is getting absolutely clapped. It was the opposite of the cinematic.
Did you ever, hang on a second, we might have a fight towards this top side. We'll, okay, looks like it's disengaged for now. By the way, absolutely read the Z comics if you want Jhin content, by the way. Very cool in there. Those
interesting, I would never have thought.
How to Jhin? It's a cool bloke in those characters. Hang on a second, Nako 1v3.
He has his ulti up and available though. Can they burst him in time before the rest of Vitality there? Ceases to do, but Niski saving the day with a pop lesson. One leap at a time. Vitality cleaning up the rest, and SK thought they had a pick, but Nako this time, he's got some defensive capabilities as Loopy won't be in range for the curtain call, but Nako again, kill number 6. He's 16 out of 21 in the KP, and this guy means business once more.
The game's fallen apart. A couple of picks lead into a huge team fight after huge team fight. We have now had Aatrox into Dragon, 2 big fights, and then the Baron to cap it off. Nako's not even needed to take the Baron. Keduii, what can he do? He's pushing out one wave. Ult is not going to steal the Baron. That's some good damage onto Lyncas, but SK, a little bit of ill discipline might have cost them a decent state in the game.
Really has, and again, SK trying to pull the trigger. I mean, again, you look here, you're like, we can kill Nako, right?
He's too bad. He's too bad. There's so much gold on this Aatrox. He has so much healing. The ult, of course, increases the healing you get as well. The passive, all the hits onto it. He gets so much healing. He can even run down the rest of the team fight. Aatrox is pretty damn scary when it gets to this kind of point. This is another fight which SK chose to take. We had that mid lane, we had the bot lane around the Aatrox, but they stood around it. Now in this top side as well. SK, it didn't take much for the dominance to start falling. And this is sad to me, because even yesterday it felt like they had some good early games versus G2, but then one fight too many. The game plan just completely flies out the window. That discipline which SK will need to keep themselves alive in the playoffs race, potentially getting themselves a tiebreaker, you need that discipline to get there.
I hope you all just saw at home, I have highlighted the Seeker's arm gun that is in Nako's inventory. So this guy is going to jump in and then have the survivability, level 16 as well. I mean, he's just that strong. That Vitality are building for this last fight. 10k gold lead, defense put out, Weaver's Wall put in, and Vitality go left and right. They're not really adverse to this Weaver's Wall. They're fine with it. And SK, it's their defensive maneuver that doesn't pay off.
And now you're down that Weaver's Wall. Yeah, down the Ezreal too, though that's a lesser cooldown, of course. Vitality, you keep waiting for a little bit of death ray poke. W into it. Yeah, that poke feels pretty hard.
Niski, all right, brother. You know what? We'll pretend we didn't see it. SK in their base, their last defense is the question. SK have an answer for us that it won't be, but Niski, brother.
Yeah, it's a great ult coming in from Lyncas, but if only they had a Neeko ult, if only they had a Neeko flash. Sadly, they don't have either of those things. No idea what happened to those. They'll have to try again the next time.
Niski, great character, great person, very friendly guy. I just think of the Beatles when, they asked Ringo, is like,
are you the best drummer in the Beatles?
He's like, are you best drummer in the world? He's like, and what was it, John, who said, he's not even the best drummer in the band. Like, I don't know, is Niski the best support of the team? Right now, he's not Baroned up, Niski. Niski, you're not Baroned up. Maybe they just don't know because Rika falls for it. Niski gets away with a good trade into this Taliyah, and Carzzy with his range curtain call going to come in, corner him and put Rika in the dirt immediately. That's easy. Carzzy, all he wants to do is run it home. And that doesn't seem too hard either.
So they use the double TPs in case the flank went a little longer. Nako wants this flank to go a little longer.
Yeah.
Here he goes.
Keduii has nowhere to go. He'll get fried. Soulflare buys next to no time. Dunked down. Nako started this game and now he's going to finish it. In the ERLs and the EMEA Master Finals last year, Nako got gapped by Czajek, but here is a quick reminder that the better LEC top laner right now is staring you from Vitality.
Vitality have a wave to shove in towards the base. They have, well, no more Baron buff left. They want to take the inhibitor. Base broken, SK. They have just been free-falling ever since those couple of picks. The Atakan, it has gone from bad to worse. And how do you come back from? Well, you obviously very unlikely do come back from this. Vitality have been really good at forcing plays, responding very, very quickly. And when you have an Aatrox who is this tanky, yeah, he has the Seekers. Even if it goes bad enough, you don't even be able to finish him off in one go. There's going to be another Dragon over the side of Vitality, get themselves onto Soul Point. SK are limping.
They really are, and it's come off the back of them trying to force some of these plays, but we talked about it again. Great range engage.
And even if that Jhin ult wasn't that accurate, double teleports on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Czajek and Nako come in. They end up corralling the remaining members towards their base. I like what Nako tries to do here, by the way. The Q to the side, just in case there was the E there a little early.
Predicted.
Feeling it. Look, he has enough excess damage. You can throw a random Q out just to see if you get the montage play. Gets the double off there too, and the Arcane Storm goes absolutely wild. You have some vision from SK top, in top side again, but you don't win that fight if Aatrox is there.
3 Aatroxes. Better run. SK, I mean, this one's in the bag for Vitality. We know that. It's for SK to just lose as gracefully as possible, because right now, 12.5k gold lead. I know there's a big quest for the 20k gold lead. Got a question whether that comes here is damage is telling a true story.
We had a 19,000 gold lead just the other day in LPL. It's the closest I've ever seen for it in the modern
19.8k was Harmwell Life versus
Really?
Gen G at the start of the split.
Whoa.
I'm pretty sure it was 19.8,
Okay.
19.9. I think it was Harmwell Life Gen G.
So, but the problem is now, I don't see a world in which Vitality get that amount of gold without destroying the Nexus. It is very unlikely at this point. That's why most of the time you look at it like a Draven and a Pike just printing money at that point.
Yeah.
Pretty hard to do that.
I feel like the only way to do it is when you ace them. You can't win for some reason because you've also entered a bit, but then all the gold's gone. You have to clear full jungle, get Baron again in a minute. Atakan's already gone. Like, it's just so hard to get it. SK have to drop all waves and let them die only to turrets, I feel.
Which is a pretty hard thing to do. Now, what they are doing is taking all those enemy jungle camps, which is nice. Of course, one of the things which is really nasty when you start getting hemmed inside your own base, you don't get your own jungle camps anymore. So the enemy team, they can, as they reset, one person resets whatever, they can get their own camps. But they've also taken all your camps, which means that you just keep falling behind XP and gold. It makes it so hard to come back. I mean, in this season, there were a couple of comeback mechanics added into the game in regards to Nexus turrets can now respawn after a couple of minutes. So, you know, bare Nexus, maybe you can hold on, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It's still really hard to come back from this kind of state.
Heretics did it.
That's true.
I should say, like, in the past, anything over 10k, I'd sit there and be like,
you see, if you were the Arbiter from Halo 2, they wouldn't have been able to do that, you see.
True.
Bring it back to the conversation at the start of the game.
True. And the Arbiter never gives up. That dude is unkillable. I would know. I played on the hardest mode, and I kept going, you know. That's if you've won that game on Legendary or whatever.
Yeah, Legendary, if you manage to get through Gravemind without dying, you go up several notches in respect.
What mission is that?
One of the hardest ones right towards the end, when you're going through High Charity.
Oh, yeah, that's
Breaker Benjamin over the audio. Really good. One of my favorite moments in all of gaming.
Looking forward to the next pick band music. Let's see how Halo we can get as Nako. You see his angle. He's just trying to find Genax, and SK are branching into where they can be. It's stun up. It's deadly flourish. Genax ran in, but he plays a card. Niski does it again! This guy is out of his mind consistently, but then finds some incredible pop blossom for us to forget. Don't put him in the MVP votes. Just respect that this guy knows how to play this champ late game, as he'll close out game one for Vitality. I cannot believe it. And again,
a grand starfall towards the Nexus, and if first the Neeko doesn't succeed, try again. You gotta respect the tenacity. Niski, 4-man ult to end the game.
I mean, look, this time they were in a massive lead and they were going to win anyway. It's not like it was an even game.
I don't care.
Niski played better. But let me just tell you, this team's always full of surprises. This game was one of them. The individual members stand out of Vitality, playing around with their skills for us all to see.
In such an important series, player stakes really high in this one. It is great to see Vitality come out swinging and set the tone for this series. SK, we thought after yesterday's games, would likely be in a bit of a difficult scenario. Yep. Now they have to come back from 1-0 in the series.
Well, match point in our best-of-3 feelers over in Paris. Vitality, can they sink their claws in to round out the series after this?